We're here in Las Vegas.
Hey, Charbax.
Yes. Hi.
How are you?
Nice to see you again.
Yeah. Have you met Dr. Pierce?
Hi, I'm Tillman, Dr. Pierce, cancer doctor, working on next generation precision medicine tools with our friend, the founder of Alafia, who's created the most powerful desktop supercomputer for biomedical applications.
So, what becomes possible for a cancer doctor with this machine?
Well, what we found is that precision medicine requires better precision. And what we've learned with the new technologies of artificial intelligence, machine learning, is that we can see things in pathology images that human pathologists could never see. Predictive things that can allow us to determine which treatment is more likely to benefit a patient or not from the image. And so we are helping with this transition from using glass slides and microscopes to digital images that doctors can read, and now to computational approaches where deep learning can pull out more relevant information from the image than a human doctor ever could.
What's the advantage of having everything on your desk?
You can do everything real time, locally encrypted and secure, and data never has to leave where the algorithm is running.
So, what's your colleague doing right now?
So our team here, Jay, has integrated an Apple Vision Pro to digitize and visualize whole slide images from pathologists.
Okay.
So, what's your demo here?
Okay. So this is a whole slide image that pathologists use to diagnose cancer. So what I have done here is I can interact with this whole slide image just with my gaze and my hand detail. So ready for a surprise. So we can go into the cellular morphology of the tissue and find out if there's any abnormalities in the images, and this could help the pathologist navigate through the whole slide image better and make a better diagnostic decision. And these images are like 40,000 pixels by 40,000 pixels in size and can vary from 5 gigabytes to 5 GB to 10, 20 gigabytes.
That's a lot of megapixels.
Yes. So we are utilizing spatial computing to visualize these kind of huge images and interact with them better. But the best part of this is a regular computer would not be able to process these kind of images. That's where Alafia comes in. The supercomputer is able to process a lot of images in real time. So if you look at the display that I'm looking at, you
What's
can
the megapixel?
AK.
AK?
7,160 megapixels by 6,408. Yes.
But what about this image that's being processed? How many megapixels you can process?
It's 100,000 pixels by over 100,000 pixels.
That's a huge amount of data, and it's very hard to visualize.
Correct.
So this is the idea here.
Yes. So we have also integrated an AI search algorithm where we could get similar patient search results, and a pathologist could visualize these on parallelly in the same environment and use the previous patient data history to make the decision on the current patient's diagnosis. Yeah.
Do you think that, for example, a cancer doctor could potentially only visualize this in this kind of system?
Well, he can visualize it faster with less latency, and he can do it in a way that's secure, doesn't depend on the internet, doesn't depend on cloud, high performance computing. So a pathologist having this in his department at his or her side allows that security, that interactivity, and lack of latency. So we think this is going to become more and more important as we go from simple models that measure one thing using one modality to multimodal models that are doing multiple tasks.
Yeah.
And so this is going to increasingly occur over the next 3 to 5 years, and we better be ready. And we think our platform allows pathologists to be ready for the data flow and the algorithmic flow that's coming that will improve healthcare.
So what's been the developments the last few months?
So we announced a new product line of twice as powerful computers, so 256 CPU cores, 4 terabytes of RAM, dual H100 NVIDIA GPUs with an RTX 12,000 graphical GPU.
So can fit in there?
They all fit in there, air-cooled, pressurized.
Air-cooled, pressurized.
So we follow the laws of physics.
You have 256 core, Ampere, ARM, like a supercomputer chip in there, right?
Correct. It's a personal AI supercomputer.
And how do you make sure it's cooled and performance stays sustained?
We've developed intellectual property to accelerate the airflow coming, as hot air rises, cold air gets pushed through the architecture.
And guess what? We got one hardware innovation award, but wait, there's more.
Let's have a look here.
We also received an artificial intelligence innovation award this year here at CES. So both a hardware and artificial intelligence.
Nice. What's the feedback in the industry?
The market loves it. We have more demand than we can supply. We have a pipeline now that we're starting mass manufacturing. So we're delivering to our customers through this year, and we have a number of customers receiving their units over the next few weeks.
How difficult or how easy is it for people to have an idea and implement it?
Well, the beauty of the human mind is that if you can conceive it and you can bring your friends along with you, you can make it happen and make the world a better place.
Like you need to develop optimized parallel processing software. Or there's a lot out there already, you just load it on?
We work with every developer in the world to make their software run better.
And do you have some other ideas, some other feedback here at the show, for example?
Well, here at the show, we've had a lot of interaction with different people, and they brought up the fact that even radiology or genomic data also requires heavy compute, and the future will be multimodal. We want to integrate not only images from pathology, but also radiology image deep learning, as well as genomic sequence analysis, and pull all of that together for a more holistic view of the patient, and hopefully even better treatments.
It's also very important to have good sensor, or what do you call it, scanner of the patient, but at the same time you need to process all this data.
That's right, just collecting the data. We have many new deep measurement technologies, multiplex. Instead of measuring 1 or 2 proteins in a sample, we can measure 80. Well, how do you analyze 80 analytes on a slide like that? That's where deep learning analytical techniques and computational prowess is going to be necessary to make actionable data out of all of that high-dimensional information.
I would guess that it's hard sometimes to navigate just with a computer mouse in all this data. That's a little bit the idea here with the Apple Vision Pro.
The Apple Vision Pro, imagine as we go from 2-dimensional on a slide to being able to look at 3 dimensions, including a z-axis. So you want to understand a 3-dimensional space, say that a tumor is in, and so having novel navigation approaches, such as these AR vision glasses, will allow doctors and scientists to better understand biology.
So let's say a clinic has very fast internet, gigabit, something like that, even more maybe. How do you do stuff? Sometimes in the cloud, sometimes local, and balance.
Correct. You can always have a hybrid architecture because we have great networking capabilities. The network capabilities are the best AI servers in the world. You can pull a lot of data faster than you normally would in a computer with 25, 100 gigs of network throughput and process it locally real time in a secure manner.
Because it's not only about fast bandwidth, it's also fast processing is important.
Correct, and memory capacity. So the capabilities that we offer, no other personal computer in the world can offer today because our memory architecture bandwidth, throughput, and memory capacity.
Did you say 4 terabytes
Correct.
of RAM?
Correct.
And it's all right there next to all these cores?
All right here, running locally on your desk.
And what's your team to make this real and make it happen?
Well, we have the best engineers in the world that work on some of the most difficult challenges and overcome all the integration points necessary to make this product a reality.
And could you describe some of the latest partnership with Ampere?
Yeah, so thanks to the team at Ampere, we have an Ampere 1 processor, 192 cores, with DDR5 memory and PCIe 5.
And I was wondering, because of your team, maybe you can hold it right here. Do you have some other ideas what could be done?
Sure. So basically, using the compute that this supercomputer provides, we can actually visualize 3D pathology images in future, which are going to be heavy in size, and also there's a lot of computational power that would be needed, and visualizing those on a spatial computing platform like a Vision Pro with the power that AVAS can provide would be revolutionary, because you would be able to see the tumor microenvironments in clarity, and that would help pathologists make better diagnostic decisions.
Do you have some other ideas, some other projects could potentially be done?
Yeah, this is not just limited to pathology, but this can be extended to radiology and other kind of medical imaging modalities as well. At the same time, we could also use inference on this machine, where you could be able to fine-tune your multimodal models for a downstream task, for a particular specific use case, and then you could deploy them and run inference on this thing with your data being private and on chip. So that's something that you won't get elsewhere.
And do you have some ideas without the Apple Vision Pro?
Just on the this is insane computing. Like you wouldn't be able to get your hands on something that's physical and use it without having to connect to a server, and that's the best part of it. And there's no latency, and you can do a lot of stuff. So.
And we think another future application will be so-called federated learning. Federated learning is a form of distributed learning, where imagine a hospital doesn't want to share its patient information with other hospitals, but we want to pool the data to be able to learn, to have larger data sets, and to be able to create models with data from many hospitals, even internationally, to make sure the data sets are represented. If each hospital has one of these supercomputers to load their data into, and to encode that data through deep learning models into abstract feature spaces that can then be shared, that is a way of preserving privacy and ensuring we have robust data sets in the most robust models possible. So this distributed sort of edge computing federated learning approach is going to be increasingly valuable over time.
Because it's a huge challenge to give the correct, prognosis, or the correct, information to every patient.
Exactly.
And an expert doctor doesn't have unlimited time. Maybe have a lot of patients. Need to process a lot of stuff in there to give correct information to everybody.
And a lot of smaller data sets, rare events happen every single day. And many patients have cancers that are not very common, and they're not very well represented in a lot of the training data sets. So the more you can have distributed, federated learning, where more and more people provide these so-called edge cases that are otherwise what they call out of distribution and not represented in training, this is a way to make people feel comfortable building larger data sets so that these rare cases can be inclusive in our new models.
And is it correct to say that if you see it early, you have a much better outcome? So does this enable to see stuff early that's maybe not possible in another way?
Well, I think particularly a good example is early diagnosis of lung cancer. Right now we have to do CT scans because the human eye cannot detect an early lung cancer with a regular X-ray. But with deep learning, it may become possible that the deep learning can detect these early changes and make it much more feasible to detect lung cancer early when it's resectable and curable.
And do you have some, there's a lot of talk right now that countries and regions and institutions, they're being told you need to be on top of AI, you need to figure out how to use it. And you're kind of providing a solution to, I don't know how to say, like the budget they might have, or do you see something happening there?
Well, every nation in the world has their own genomics data, and no one cares more about their genomics data than their own culture. So they'll be able to learn about their society, their history, and their culture through their medical data on their own, with their own developers, and ultimately, increase the health of their society all on their own.
Are there some other scientists that could be really excited to use this in other fields?
We have some of the top scientists in the world doing drug development, biopharma, biotechnology, developing biotechnology therapeutics. They're using our technology to accelerate their development and get the products faster to market.
And right now there's like a wait list. How do they get it? How many people can get it right now?
So they usually give us a call. We learn more about their problem and how we may be able to help them. And then, our team helps them make their software better in our platform.
All right. And this is next gen already. And we did the video not so long ago.
Yeah.
So you're doing fast development.
Yeah, we have a cadence that goes along with, the technology that's accelerating at a rapid pace.
All right, cool. So I hope you have a great rest of the CES with more interactions here at the show.
Thanks, Nick. We'll see you the next year.
Thank you,
Show what we
Charbax.
got
You're
done.
awesome.